Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Nice.
Bucket.
I like your little hand up. We could still
Yeah,
tell.
I had to move it down a little bit, but
Yeah,
he's up too high, so.
Yeah, there's like this whole technique of trying to hide me now to keep from laughing at the beginning.
On the video version, if you're listening to the audio version of this, watch us be
no problem.
stupid
But
on
he-
YouTube.
He always makes faces before I try to.
I don't make any faces. Go back and rewatch. I'm
Griff
just sitting
always
here
cuts it
smiling.
off so you guys can never see.
Yeah, Hear you. Whatever.
What games have everybody been playing?
I don't have a whole lot of games, so I'll just say what I've been playing, which is Sea of Thieves. That was the only thing I really played this week that I can remember anyway. Trying to get the last bit in before the anniversary edition hits on April the 30th with all the new add-ons and all that type of stuff. People are getting a little bit more volatile in the game. I guess they're getting ready for the arena, so you got to kind of watch the seas a little bit more. So, but other than that, I mean, it was fun just hanging out and doing Athena missions and that type of stuff. That was it. That's all I got.
Nice. What about you two?
Baka.
Overwatch stuff. Started playing around with Skyrim again because why not? And my nephew played more and more Duck Hunt, and apparently he really hates the dog.
Oh,
Everybody hates that
yay!
fucking dog.
I got a shirt with the dog on it, but he's got two beers in his hand.
He would miss the ducks and not get one, and the dog would laugh. He would yell at it to go away. I've got a video of it. I'll post it in Discord later.
That's awesome.
cute.
That's awesome.
What about you two?
I have been playing Overwatch for the last couple of weeks. I know we missed a show, so it's been nothing but Overwatch because the event is out.
Because the event is out.
Yeah, the event is out. And playing some League ARMs and whatnot. And then I was browsing Reddit, saw some people talking about a mod I thought was a mod, but it was for Skyrim. I went and looked it up, and it has its own Steam store page, which was a little shocking to me because it's a mod, but it's not a mod.
It's a big enough mod that it's...
It's a huge mod. Apparently,
it works off the Skyrim engine.
Yes. It's 30 to 120 hours worth of content. It's a big-ass mod. But I started playing that, and I just fell into it. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's the Skyrim engine, but the story is entirely different. Like, it's an entirely self-written story. It's all voice acted.
And this is a mod to Skyrim that created the whole storyline that I'm
It's
confused.
using the Skyrim engine. So basically
Engine, that's
Skyrim's
it.
running in the underside of it, and then they built
Okay.
everything
Like,
on top of it.
Yeah, everything inside of this game is all self-built. It's completely separate. It has nothing to do with Elder Scrolls or anything like that. It's just its own story that they made. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot different than Skyrim. It's more of an RPG, like a heavy RPG. And there's a stronger difficulty curve. You don't have the kind of, I go to the first town, now I can go wherever I want and do whatever I want. You're kind of more strung along in this linear storytelling style. There's this magic fever that you have, so you can't use magic as freely because your fever will go up and you'll get really bad symptoms, and if you get up to like 100% you just die. So you have to have a specific type of potion to reduce your fever, and you're trying to figure out the cure to subside this so that you can do magic more freely. Your health doesn't freely regenerate. You have to eat food. Some of the cooked food only heals you outside of combat. So, and potions will give you fever too. So you can't just chug potions regularly. You're more restricted on how you
So
can.
it's like Skyrim
play.
survival mode, just about.
Yeah, like you have to actually be more careful on how you do it. Like there early on in the game, I was beaten up pretty bad a couple of times. Then I realized that I had a summon skeleton spell, so I was like, all right, summon skeleton. Get him, boy. He would just run in and just start beating the shit out of him, and I would just stand in the back and shoot arrows. I'm like, get him, boy. And then eventually I found the big-ass greatsword, and so now I run around and smack the shit out of stuff. But it's more important to craft and make potions and just experiment with things and figure out what kind of play style. The talent trees are a lot nicer. The actual talent trees, magic, dexterity, strength users. You can also become a werewolf, which is super nice. It's a lot more RPGs.
It's super
a
nice
lot
to
of
be a
fun.
werewolf.
Oh yeah, you just run around and eat people.
Ew.
Nom.
Ew.
But I highly recommend if you like Skyrim. Yes. If you like Skyrim, check it out. It's called Enderall: The Lost Legacy. It has its own Steam page, and it's free to download if you have Skyrim, which everybody on the planet has Skyrim at this point.
Except for Cindy, we found out. He's not picked it up yet. So don't worry. It'll come on sale like in the next 2 or 3 months, most likely, because it always does.
Or minutes, either way.
Yeah.
I mean, in either way, it's possible.
Then it'll be like 10 cents, so no big deal.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I've kind of just fell into it, so now I'm playing it on my downtime constantly. So I highly recommend it if you like Skyrim. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really great adventure so far. Story's
Awesome.
pretty good, and the voice acting, you can tell it's some mod voice acting. Some of them are okay.
And some of them sound like early Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, some of them are not so much. The volume issues are a little there. Like sometimes you walk up, it's like nighttime. It's all peaceful. The music's playing, and you walk up, and this kid just starts screaming at you. You're like, "Holy shit, dude! You're gonna wake up the whole fucking town." Volume down a little bit. But yeah, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I'm gonna play it after we're done again.
Yeah. Well,
Don't get too hung up in it. Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
well, he knows he got a schedule. Like he told me earlier that his entire day is already like scheduled out completely. So, also, if Baga's not moving, it's because his camera has been freezing a lot today. So at least it froze while he was like still on there. We can still see a picture of Baga, but it's a still. So, and he's not making a weird
Which is
face.
why Chicken and I started laughing, because the expression
I'm just glad that didn't catch him while he was like blinking or something, so his eyes were closed for the whole show, or he was making a weird face. Yeah, I'm glad that it decided to freeze where it did. So
Yes. Got the nice indifferent face.
Is that y'all won't tell.
yeah, and as soon as you start doing that, your camera's gonna start working again, and we'll see it.
I've done that before.
And then it'll freeze again in like the worst phase.
Oh goddamn.
What I played this past weekend, I didn't play it as much this weekend because my sister's been over, and whatnot. But Ubisoft gave away Assassin's Creed Unity for free on PC. Did they give it away on consoles too?
Just
go download
PC
it?
through the
Okay.
Uplay, right?
Yeah,
I thought it
think
was just
through
Uplay PC, but I wasn't sure. I didn't look. Sorry. So I've been going back and playing that some, and I like how much they've polished it since its terrible launch. But I definitely realized some of the flaws with it. Like the Chicken came in one point and was like, because I was looking at the map trying to figure out where I needed to go, and he was like, "That is a metric fuck ton of stuff on your map," because the map is just so cluttered with everything. Like there's 3 kinds of chests, there's like 4 different kinds of side mission markers, there's companion mission markers, there's main mission markers, there's like viewpoint markers, interest points. Just there's so much stuff looking at that map. It's crazy.
Far too much stuff.
They really got excited about the amount of things they could put on the map. Like you open the city and it's just, if zoomed out, you can't even see most of it. It's just stuff on there. That's crazy. The game, it feels really good to go back to Assassin's Creed after not playing it, because it's been several years since I've played an Assassin's Creed game for any length of time. Like I tested out Origins for a little bit when it came out. I haven't played Odyssey at all, so it's been a little while. And coming back to it after a minute feels good, man. Feels good to be an assassin. Feels bad knowing that I have to be an assassin and do a bunch of menial bullshit tasks so I can make enough money to go be a real assassin. Because I have to buy all of my gear upgrades and everything, and you have to upgrade yourself in order to continue along with the missions, or else you're going to get to a point where the guys are just too strong.
Just
I forgot that was part of that.
Yeah, I did too.
just buy
I forgot all about
giant
that.
battle axe, Grif. I mean,
That's not stealthy.
well,
And I know I'm not the best at stealth, but I'd rather be able to jump off of a building and shank somebody with my hidden blades than have to, you know, pull out my giant battle axe and jump in the
I
middle.
don't know. If you jump
you also
a building
then
with an axe and can cleave someone clean in half, I think the rest of them would run.
But the downside of that is, though, you have to buy gear according to how you want to play. So if I wanted to buy the battle axe gear, you know, I got to start buying the gear that's going to give me extra health and all of that stuff so that I can be a big giant meatball assassin and jump in the middle and start killing folks. But that's not, one, my aesthetic, and two, how I want to play. So I'd rather not. So I'm tailoring how I want to play the game to which gear pieces I like the look of. So it's been a lot of me trying to be stealthy, because I don't have a lot of health, but I got a lot of stealth and damage capabilities. So I'm just trying really hard. But they did give that away for free, and anytime you give things away for free, people like it. Which kind of leads into one of the things that was in the news, and that actually Ollie brought up on our Discord channel too, is that it got positively review bombed on Steam. But Steam's automated review bomb system doesn't catch it if it's a positive thing. That system's tailored to catch negative bombs and stop bad actors from ruining a reputation of a game. But should it apply for the opposite version of that? Like if people are... Because, I mean, a lot of the comments that they post along with it are off topic, which is what it's supposed to be designed to catch. Just be like, thanks for the free game. Ubisoft, good job, free game. You know, nice of you to do this after Notre Dame burned. Free game. So it's not... It's a weird thing to think about, because I don't think Steam even thought about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting because they're so used to the internet being trolls and being the opposite way that they're like, we'll just make sure that we're taking care of these trolls, and then it goes the positive way, and they're like, but if we take this away now, we look like douchebags because of why this was why it was done in the first place.
I feel like it should still be caught, because just because somebody gets a product for free doesn't mean that product is inherently good. It's not like, I mean, right now, overall, Assassin's Creed Unity on Steam is sitting at mixed, which I feel is accurate. And you can look at the graph thing. That I'm so glad they put that graph thing in. That's so neat to look at that and see kind of how it's been trending since launch and whatnot. And it mixed seems really good, but right now, if you look at it for like recent reviews, it's overwhelmingly positive. But I do think that should come with the asterisk that the overwhelmingly negative ones come with too. But I really think that Steam didn't expect to have to moderate it in that side of it. I think that they thought they needed the moderation for the bad, because it generally doesn't happen that you get positive review bombs.
Not usually.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, other products have been given away for free too. I just think that this one came with the caveat of Ubisoft gave it away for free because a historical monument had just burned in Paris, and it was in the game, and not only did they give the game away, but they donated to the restoration fund at the same time. So, I mean, it's a lot of goodwill, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the game.
Yeah,
situation.
It's kind of an odd thing to look at, because we try to squash negativity in any way that we can and figure out ways to, especially off-topic stuff like that. But when it comes to something positive like that, that's kind of especially in this case, why it was done.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, hey, we gave this game away for free for a week. It's, hey, we gave this game away for free because this might be the only way you're ever going to be able to see Notre Dame. Yeah. You know? So it's like, so I'm very, very, very interested to see what ends up coming to light. Me personally, if I worked for Valve, I wouldn't change this one, but I would change the algorithm to help in the future in case something else happened. Just because of going, okay, now we're aware this could be a possibility. Let's make sure. Because, I mean, theoretically, you could have a huge fan base of a particular game, and let's say that there's bad light of something that the organization that built it, developed the game itself. There's something that happened, and those people were such fans of the game that they do this exact same type of thing and do it off topic.
Right. I do think that it should be tailored to catch both. Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I agree. Yeah. Ollie, I think, was in the same boat, which is, it should fall under that caveat of its unusual behavior.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to put that in. I wonder if they're like, this is not going to happen often enough for us to put forth the effort to do this. Because, I mean, when, like, I don't know, unless groups do start weaponizing it, like you had said, Oak, where it's fans of a game and something bad happens and they come to its defense, I think unless we see that kind of behavior start popping up, I don't think they're going to do anything about it, though. Because it just doesn't happen often that this thing...
They might not.
We're so used to hate.
Yeah, I know, right? It's sad that the most common thing on the internet is hate.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes.
Think about how much better you can make everybody's lives if you could just stop saying mean things on the internet for 5 minutes.
If you were just a more positive person.
Yeah.
The glass is half full, people.
They're very positively bad, mean, whatever you want to say.
They are the best at being mean.
Oh, they're
There
just
you go.
garbage people. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of games with rabid fan bases, there's a bunch of, there's a couple of Fortnite, or there's a Fortnite story and an Epic story. So I guess those two kind of go hand in hand. Epic's in trouble because of endless crunch and expecting their devs to work 70-hour plus weeks to moderate their incredibly giant, always online multiplayer, massive multiplayer game as a service thing. Fortnite.
And my thought process on this is you're making like $200 million a month. You can't hire 4 or 5 more people.
No, because if you start hiring people at regular actual wages as full-time devs, then you as the higher-ups in the company make less money. And why would you give up your fat paycheck so that somebody doesn't die from having to work 70 hours a week?
Yeah, and I mean, the little subheader, the only people that got away with not doing crunch were the guys telling the people to crunch.
Yes.
So, I mean, the ones up here are not doing anything and just making lots and lots and lots and lots of money, and everybody else is just... This is why I am so strong for unions and developers. Like, they need to be protected.
I know that this one's
shit
about
is too common.
Epic, but I also saw, because Mortal Kombat 11 just came out, I also saw that there were issues like that with them, too, where they were bringing in contractors that they weren't going to pay full-time, and they were paying garbage money, but those kinds of contractors are willing to work those extra hours because they have to make rent. So, I mean, they're basically, it's not an isolated incident. This happens at literally every company. We heard about it week before last, from BioWare, and that article about them. I mean, every company that makes a massive game that you like probably had people slaving away in order to put
But I
that
think
game
the
out
difference
there.
you're dealing with when you're dealing with like the BioWare situation, it's yes, you're talking about Anthem, which is the game for service that they were talking about with the amount of hours, and they had a deadline that they put on there. Fortnite doesn't have a deadline. It still says the word beta sitting on the motherfucker.
Well, the problem with
So
Fortnite is, according to the article, it's whatever marketing says is going to happen, the devs have to make happen. So if you promise that a weapon's out and that weapon launches into the wild and it doesn't work, you can't disable it and wait till next week's patch to fix it. You got to fix it right that second. So you already worked you showed up at 8 o'clock and it's now 6 o'clock and you're ready to go home, but that weapon still doesn't work. You don't go home. You just stay there until it works because it's already out in the wild. Marketing said it was here, so it's here. I mean, it's the shittiest way to handle things because your player base, and I'm sorry if you're a huge Fortnite fan, but your player base is going to be the whiniest little bitch about it. If you disable a weapon that you told them they could have, they're going to fucking shit their pants. If you disable it, if you disable it and take it away from them because it doesn't work properly. You're ruining their fun. How dare you? You said it was theirs and you took it away. So, I mean, they're under a lot of pressure just from that, but I really feel like marketing shouldn't control the dev team. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't put it out yet.
Here's part of the problem they run into, too. Like, I don't know how much you all follow Fortnite, but I do follow a lot of streamers that play the game. And I get to listen to a lot of the bitching that goes along with the game too. But part of my issue with that game is the fact that every 10 minutes it seems like they have a new weapon that comes out, and they're taking old stuff away, bringing new stuff in.
The amount of stuff that comes
out.
Like
the rotation is ridiculous. Now I understand the concept of saying we're trying to keep the game fresh, we're adding new stuff to the game, and it's fine. You're on your 8th season now, and the game is a little over a year and a half old, but
it's still in beta.
It's still in beta, but you can. Like, at least give a little bit of space of some sort. Like, give a little bit of space to keep this 70-hour thing gone. Because now if I'm looking at it from a stockholder standpoint, I'm looking at it going, okay, look, that's if you're making these people work 70 hours, that's a lot on the payroll. But now if I can get you down to 40 hours, by doing this or that, or even you get them down to 50 hours by doing this or that.
But a lot of those people are people they hired in at garbage money to start with, so even if they are getting overtime, it's better than paying a bigger team of full-time devs that could turn out quality products if you give them time. Now you've hired a bunch of disposable people specifically so that you could pay them garbage money, they could work extra, they're still making garbage money, and then you can throw them away.
Well, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you lower, if you can get everybody down to 40 hours that are because if you're working 70 hours, I don't care who you are, you're nearly at twice the amount of overtime. Mm-hmm. Think about that for a minute. Nearly twice the amount of overtime, and which is in the United States is usually time and a half. So they're not only let's paying. I don't care if you're paying them $10 an hour, whatever it is, you're paying them $10 an hour. At the end of the day, now you've got a mass amount of money that you're now paying them $15 an hour, which would be a normal pay, right? So you look at it and you go, okay, you can't. If you knock this down to 40 hours, you're spending less money, and all you have to do is really stop pushing shit out so much. Stop promising people that this is what we're going to do for this particular season and putting astronomical amount of stuff in it, because you're putting a lot of pressure on yourselves as well. And from a company standpoint, you're going to burn everyone out on this game because you continue to change it as much as you
I'm pretty sure that this article was written because they are starting to burn out and they're starting to talk to the press about it. I mean, because that's the only way that companies listen now to their employees, is if somebody goes to the press and it starts making them look bad publicly. Which is a really, really shitty way, but hello, capitalism. So...
Well, but Epic's owned by Tencent, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Epic has shares
communism.
in Tencent.
Yeah. I will say that Respawn did clap back from this article because people were complaining about Apex not giving enough content. Well, they came back and was like, we're going to make our content on our schedule, and we're going to make sure that we do not overwork our people like some other companies. We're going to make sure that everybody has a life and a job, not just this job, which is nice. I'm glad that there are some companies out there that are willing to make sure that there is balance inside of that. I understand, and right before a game comes out, it's time to crunch time, it's whatnot. But like for a year or constantly, that should just kill you.
That wears on everyone.
Yes.
My argument that from the get-go with Fortnite, because they're switching so much, this part of the reason you can't really have a competitive scene. There's no competitive version of BR for that because no one can get used to playing the game because you're changing it so much. Like, the only thing that's consistent is how you build and that you have guns and you've got whatever the hammer thing is that they use to get materials. I mean, that's the only thing that's consistent in the damn game. I just don't understand. I don't understand why that game changes as much as it does. Because
they're trying to stay relevant in a world like this, where people's interests wane so fast. And honestly, Fortnite is not at the peak anymore. Like it's definitely probably the most popular game in the world still, but it's not like it was. It's not like everybody's talking about it. It's the main fucking shit anymore. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just Fortnite. Everybody plays that. And so they can feel that, so it's sloping down. So they're trying to keep throwing stuff in there to keep the fire burning, but it's more or less putting the fire out because people are like, oh, more shit, whatever. I don't like this. I don't like that. They keep changing this. They keep adding this. It's like, I don't even know what this fucking game is anymore. I'm just gonna go play something else. There are plenty more games out there now to play in every genre. So,
yep, that is for sure.
Wow. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
We were all going to go into it.
Yeah. This other article about Epic is basically them trying to put a blanket over the whole crunch time thing. They're trying to change the narrative, change the story, try to get the
Which
story
one came
off
out
of
first?
the Epic Under Fire for 70 hours.
Okay.
And then this one came out the day afterwards. You tell me that's not trying to change the direction.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney saying something ridiculous on Twitter about Steam. Yeah, you're right. They are trying to shift the direction of conversation.
Like when Big Boss comes out and says something super stupid like that, it's definitely pulling the attention off of something else.
What Tim Sweeney said on Twitter this week is that if Steam committed to a permanent 88% revenue share for all of their developers and publishers, that that Epic would stop buying exclusivity. Like, they'd honor whatever they had for their partners and everything now that they've already promised stuff to, but then they would completely, drastically draw back their aggressive behavior about this.
And then we'd even move our own games over.
We'd consider.
But consider. Well, here's the thing. This is how you answer that if you're Valve. You go, okay, since you do the 88%, we're going to take 2 of our games and move them over to you. Let's see if they would allow that to happen.
Ooh.
Probably not.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah. They
even
would
if it's just
probably
something older like Half-Life games, right? So...
Ooh.
And like move those over. I mean, I think that would be turn around and go, well, we tried to put it on the Epic store, but they wouldn't allow us to do it.
The way I feel about it, and I know that the argument for the Epic store is look how much of a better cut they give developers. I'm 100% fine with developers making more money off of their products. They should. It's their product to start with. So I totally agree with that point of it. But Epic trying to leverage what another company does because they're buying exclusivity, like, we'll stop doing this if you do what we want. We'll stop our shitty behavior if you kowtow to what we say. You can't do that? That's not really how it works.
No.
I mean, what planet are you living on? Because that's not this one. I said something about it on Twitter about it feeling like Epic trying to bully Steam, and one of the responses I got was that it's outrageous that you would think that Epic is trying to bully a thing like Steam that's terrible anyway when Epic's offering more money to the devs. It's like, well, first of all, I said in my initial comment I'm all for devs making more money. That's fine. The thing I don't like about it is that they're trying to use shitty tactics to force another company to do something.
Yeah, that is fucking awful.
But that also screams desperation on their part, I think. Because to me it sounds like we're not making as much money as we thought we would. But now if Steam would help us out by giving us 88%, we'll go ahead and put our games on your format, which would mean our format we don't have to put more money. Yeah, because right now they don't have any of the features really that Steam does,
which is what we've been harping on for a while,
right? And so it almost is like we're not willing to spend the money on that either. But now if you gave us the 88%, we could just move that over.
They said they're working on implementing all of the features that Steam has, like your friends list and all of that other stuff.
Give it a couple of years.
Yeah, but they're already working. They're already working one group of their employees 70 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
on one game.
Yep.
So there's no way that
Epic's not making itself look any better this week at all. Like, super stupid crunch times with Fortnite, and then Tim Sweeney saying dumb shit on Twitter. Like, it's not a good look, guys. It's not. You're already in hot water. You need to start figuring out how to get out of it instead of diving further in.
Right.
They're just gonna pour water in the bucket and boil.
I guess so.
I just recommend everybody don't buy from the Epic Store. That's my opinion, and lots of factual stuff based on my opinion is based on. So Epic Store is just not a good platform, and Epic is not a good company.
And again, Epic doing something.
Tencent is not a good company, and I have been preaching that for years now. I don't like how they just
that,
gobble up.
Or are they just a big stakeholder in it? Because I feel like they're just a big shareholder.
I think Tencent owns it.
I think Tencent owns it.
Well, let's go to Google. Everybody, Google's your best friend.
When in doubt, Google.
Exactly. Or whatever your preferred search engine. If you use Bing or
Yahoo
or whatever.
We got a friend that does Yahoo. I laugh every time.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You used to use Yahoo.
Yahoo. It says founders, CEO,
so
parent organization. Who's the parent organization? Owners. Tim Sweeney is a 50% owner and Tencent is 40%. So Tim Sweeney owns more of the company than Tencent.
So Tencent is in control.
Well, Tim Sweeney, who is also as like batshit as fucking Randy Pitchford just about.
So I wonder how much the 10% is easy for Tencent to just kind of that's left over on that one to just kind of swing the other direction.
Well, and recently Tim Sweeney himself was talking about how Tencent doesn't control what Epic does and everything, so
they just use Tencent's
money,
ideas, and money on how to make more money.
Like, here's one of the things that Jim Sterling has been harping on for a couple of years now, and that developers really need to understand. There's a finite amount of money in the world, and you cannot make all of it. And you cannot make all of it on every game.
Truth.
Like, that's it. The fact that the games that are super well performing and sell really well, do really well as far as, like, microtransactions or DLC sells after the fact, and are still not selling up to expectations according to their, parent companies, that is the problem. Because each dev thinks that they can make all of the money in the world on every game that they make. It's a finite amount, guys. You're not going to make all of it. Stop trying. Just try to be successful. Manage your expectations a little better. Manage your teams better. And stop being ridiculous.
You may make enough of a profit, but, I mean...
Well, part of it would come with
world...
restructuring the CEO and, like, the upper management paychecks is what some of it would be. But that's not going to happen either.
Yeah, I think a lot of that money that's up top needs to either come back down more or be reinvested back into the company to make other things.
Yeah.
Like, I like what Microsoft is doing. Like, the Game Pass thing. Like, a brand new game comes out, goes on Game Pass automatically. People are just paying $15. That money siphons right back into Microsoft, and then they just sprinkle it back down onto the companies.
Which, by
so
the way,
companies can keep working.
The subscription Game Pass thing coming out later this year, that is confirmed now. So.
Yes.
Yes,
which is, again, super fucking awesome.
$15 a month for those interested.
USD,
which I will be doing. I mean, there's no point to not do it. It's $15. You get Xbox
I just want to know if I can pay
and
for
access
the year
to all
of it.
Game Pass.
Yeah, because that's what I would like to see. If right now I'm paying, what is it, $9.99 or whatever it is for the regular version.
Well, if you're paying monthly subscription fee for just gold, it's $9.99 a month too.
No, I'm talking about.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is you'd be paying essentially $20 a month for both of them if you were doing monthly payments for both. That's why I want to know if you can get the year, because you can buy the year package for just the subscription. I want to know if they'll.
You could probably buy the whole that's the whole year for both.
That's what I'd want to see for the savings that was on there. Would you actually, if they don't do the year, would I be better off paying just the monthly for one and the year for the other?
Yeah, that would be.
You see what I mean? Like, because one would be, because theoretically one would cost me $120 for the year, and the other one cost me what, $60 for a year. So
is it 60 or 70? I can't remember.
It's $70.
Yeah, I think it's 69.
They upped it a few years back.
Okay,
I haven't
so
$79.99.
All right, so basically it would cost me $190 for an entire year for both subscriptions currently. So now all we got to do is $14.99.
What's 15 times 12?
I know you're not asking me.
Okay, 150, 107,
I'll get a calculator. What was it, 15 times 12? Sure.
Yep.
180. It's 180.
Yes, you are correct.
I know how to do math.
So you save $10.
Well, no, that is only if you buy it per month. They always give you a deal if you're going to commit, so it'll probably end up being like 140 for a whole year of Xbox Live Gold Game Pass. This is what I'm going to call it, by the way. Xbox Live Gold Game Pass.
Just make it a whole paragraph next time.
Yeah, the Xbox Live Gold Game Pass, all games included. And but I mean that's a lot of money. But unless they go like super cheap and do it for like $100 a year, which would be crazy.
That'd be perfect though, because I mean, you think about this, like Amazon Prime's like $100. So I mean, people are fine with paying $100 at a time. Yearly fee $100. All right, boom, done.
Fuck yeah, I would do it. I mean, come on, the Game Pass library is so fucking huge, and I mean, I'm already paying $70 a year for my Xbox Gold. So what's an extra $30 a year and to get access to all of those games?
Well, and you feel EA access is $30 for the entire year. So, which is their vaulted version, right? So the difference is you're not getting brand new games. You'll get a 4-hour trial of some of the brand new games before they come out. So,
yeah.
You can do that if you're not, unless you're doing premium, which that one's whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Microsoft is hitting it. Like I feel like they've been bumpy and they've done their things, but I think they're starting to hit their stride heavy now. Like this is such a smart idea to do.
I think so too. I think it'll work out really good.
Yeah, especially with the discless Xbox coming out too.
The what? Xbox?
Discless.
I heard discless.
I did say
discless. Can't help what you heard.
Yeah.
Got a very fine, so.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It was just it was stuttered a little bit. So that's what I was going.
But
Or the
imagine
discless.
selling those with a year of Xbox Live Gold Game Pass. They will sell pretty well too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not?
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
All right. Going back to talking about shitty companies doing shitty things.
But shitty people doing shitty things.
Yeah, shitty people doing shitty things. It was probably 3, 4, 5 months ago. We had an episode we talked about Riot Games and sexual harassment stuff that was going on there. Definitely not a friendly environment for women there. Wouldn't be able to get promoted and other things like that. So there was a mass lawsuit that was put in there. Well, it looks like that lawsuit, that they're using some of their contracts to be able to waive the rights to be able to sue the company essentially in front of a jury. So that's going to be interesting. Like, it's not ironclad by any means, but it's at the same time, it's kind of one of those, guys, come on. You fucked up.
Yeah, why would
take
you
responsibility
do this to make
do
yourself
not
look
run
worse?
this through again, because an article is going to come out about it. Last time, for those that are interested in it, Kotaku is the one that wrote the original article that had to do with all the sexual harassment stuff that was going on. But this one just kills me, because it's like, just admit you did some shit, figure out a way to take care of it,
Nobody
and then
does that.
and then move along instead of trying to
evolve, grow, learn from it, become better from it. Don't try to put a fucking silence order on the people that are trying to speak out against what you were doing. You just make yourself
Look way worse.
so bad. Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw this pop up on Twitter. I was like, oh no, that's your foot. Why are you shooting it?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Anytime that there's a company that is in the news for trying to make people sign waivers for things like that, like their employees sign waivers, you're like, that means you know it's happening. Like, that's just an admission of guilt right there.
Right.
Because if you're trying to prevent people from talking about it, it's because you are aware that it's happening and you're not interested in doing anything about it.
Probably
I do like
this. Higher up.
Yep. Yep, I do like that they're going to go through with fighting it too. Like, they're like, fuck it. You bring whatever the hell defense you want. We're going to continue on with this. We will see where it goes.
I think the California law is going to overrule that, because that was
Probably.
kind of part of that lawsuit anyway. I think the California law is probably going to end up overruling it. So that'll be quite interesting to see. Hopefully they've got some good lawyers backing them with I think it's 5 of them.
There are 5
suing.
women.
Yeah, so I think that'll help, and they'll have some decent representation to hopefully fight them and beat them at that game, and then make it even worse, right? Oh, and you tried to hide it, and that's worth a lot more. So instead of $20 million or whatever,
I'm sure they will get compensated well. Yeah.
I don't know why, but my video quality just fell off. But the upside is, since Baka's frozen, he's frozen in good quality. Good job, Baka. You still look pretty.
Well, what's funny is Chickens is the only one that's messed up for me.
No, it was both of you guys.
Everybody else is fine.
I was
for me. Yeah, Oak was the only one for me that just basically turned into pixels.
And the only reason
Looked
I
like
mentioned
Minecraft
that is
there for a
so
second.
it's preemptive, so that if our internet drops because that's what's happening or something, I've already said it on the show. We all know the internet might die. So
we have backup powers, so we can.
It means I can save the video really quick, because if the internet, if the power goes out, our router and everything is not on the backup power.
Yep.
So, just means I have a chance to save the show. But it looks like it's mostly okay except for Chicken.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Whatever it was.
Chicken's just fuzzy.
All right.
Feathery.
More douchebag news.
That seems to be a lot today.
Right?
There's a lot
Don't
of
worry,
douchebag of the day stuff happening.
We'll end with something really good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll save the good one.
We've got positivity for the end, but for right now, the next one is there's a mod that was supported by Patreon followers, and
a group of mod makers being supported by Patreon to make a mod.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
There
it's
you
a
go.
really, really popular mod that everybody wants.
For Skyrim.
it makes $18,284 a month. Now think about that for a minute.
That's more
This
than I make
is
a month.
$18,000 a month for I don't know how many is in the actual group itself.
Yeah, I don't know how big the team
but
is.
but it's just for this team of mods that are trying to create a multiplayer version of Skyrim.
It's
which
Skyrim
they did
Together, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, Skyrim Together.
Skyrim Together.
And they did a test at one point, and since then, nobody's heard anything. So they're calling this whole big thing a scam. A lot of people are saying a bunch of stuff. Well, then a representative for the company came out. He's the lead programmer. His name is Max Griot, I guess. Griot?
Sure.
Griot, however you want to say that shit. It's something.
We'll just call him.
He's definitely.
Can we call him G Riot?
Sure. He's Max G
sorry.
Riot. Yes.
That sounds like a cool gamer tag.
Right? So basically you have all these people that are having issues with the fact that they really haven't heard from the company. There's not a lot that's coming out there. And his response to that is we don't owe the community anything.
Not a good look, friend.
Buddy, they just pay you $18,000 a month. You don't owe them anything?
They've paid you up front $18,000 a month. I mean, you haven't even given them a playable thing yet, so they're just out of the hope in their heart giving you cash. Calm down a little bit. Carry on.
We give updates if we feel like spending time doing it. Right now, it's the same as before. We are still fixing bugs. Why in the fuck did you say it? Like, you could have said, we apologize that we haven't given you an update. Thank you for the $18,000 a month. And then go.
Well, I imagine it stems from somebody who shouldn't be doing PR, because that happens all the time with stuff like this.
Even with major companies, as
Yes.
we found out recently.
Yes.
And they're getting frustrated because the community's frustrated, because the community's been throwing cash at it, going, okay, we're going to get this mod any day now. We haven't heard anything from in a while, any day now. And so the community's frustrated, which in turn they make comments that the person in charge sees. That person gets frustrated. And instead of channeling that frustration, working on your stuff, and having somebody else in the group make an announcement that's maybe better with PR, they just lash out. They're like, oh, we don't owe you anything. You just give us money for free for funsies, right?
No, you taking that much money, you owe the community that you're trying to not make.
Too, is
an
he said we're
explanation.
not trying to make a community, but by accepting Patreon money, you are making a community.
Well, he said secondly, we are not making this for the community. I'm sorry. If you're taking money from them, you're making it for them.
Like, if they're funding it for you to work on it,
They didn't create the Patreon page and go, we're going to give you the money. You created the Patreon page, and they're giving you the money.
It's
That's how
somebody that
works.
shouldn't have made a statement. And you're right. It should have been, okay, we see that the community's frustrated. As a team, what are we doing right now? Like, internally, get together and be like, what are we doing as a team? Okay, we're bug fixing. Put out posts that say we're bug fixing. I mean, and even maybe a detail about what bug you're working on. Just a little anecdotal something or another to be like, this week, we were working on it, but it turns out that when you load into this one particular cutscene, it makes your companion fly up to the ceiling of this cave like a hot air balloon. Like, yeah, okay, it's funny, and you're giving us updates on what you're doing, and we get it. You're still working on it. Here's some more cash. We don't hate you. But if you're like, we don't owe you anything, we don't have to tell you nothing, we're fixing bugs, stop bothering me, kid. Yeah, that's when it's a problem.
I did look at the subreddit for it, and the post that he made, and every single comment is deleted.
I bet.
They deleted everything.
They mass deleted all the angry comments.
It's a battleground in that subreddit.
If
right now.
I don't know how long this has been going on with them making $18,000 a month or whatever, but that's $216,000 a year.
I can't help but wonder if part of the reason people are upset is because they might have at the onset said it'll take this long to make, and it's taking longer.
That's a possibility.
Because then people that are giving money are feeling that 200 and something a year and going, well, where's the money going? Then you said it was going to be X time. It's still not here.
Yeah, if you had let's say you had a team of 4, that's $54,000 per person.
So
they're making a year.
Yeah, what the fuck are they doing?
If they have a team of 5,
well, and there's
that's still
students
43,000.
and working jobs while going to school and working on this. Like, at that point,
Man,
you
if you're
can
making
quit
that
your
much
job
money,
and be a student and work on this because this is your job.
Yeah,
Right.
that much money, that is your job now. Congratulations, you have.
Well,
a
even then,
job.
let's say the G Riot over here, he could
My second choice of gamer tag.
right, could go ahead and quit his job, work on this full time, take the majority of the money if he wanted to, so he could take $75,000 or whatever, because he's the one that's working on this a full time job. If everybody else wanted to keep their, but at least the ship would still be going. You know, the train's on the on the rails and moving, and then you just have one of them come in every once in a while, and you walk into G Riot's office and go, "Hey, dude, I need to put a community update out." Okay, awesome. That's exactly what I need to know. And bop, send it out. And everybody goes, "Oh, awesome. That's what's going on. Now we're not all pissed off." Excuse me, G Riot. Why I take away your?
This mod has been in development since almost since the game launched.
Damn.
Really?
So 2011.
Holy
Holy.
God,
Yeah,
they're
not too long
milking
because
that.
I remember.
I remember hearing something about
seeing
it
on
years
the
ago.
Steam page, yeah, Steam page about it. And
So I wonder how long they've been
they
making the
test.
18,000 a
Is
month.
there a
Surely
link to
it's
their
not been more than a
Patreon?
year or
Can
two.
you see on the Patreon when it was founded? I don't know.
I did find the Patreon. I have it pulled up.
Does it say when it was started?
It doesn't say. I don't see where it says when it started.
That's
Posts?
crazy.
Oldest first. Oldest post first. Looks like it hasn't started too long ago. Their oldest, well, I guess January 27th. They've only done 2 posts.
No wonder. And people are still paying them money? I would have been like, fuck off.
How the fuck do you guys, you guys are getting bamboozled out of your fucking money like crazy.
People want to play Skyrim with their friends.
Well, one
Yes,
of
they
the
do.
posts says that on their Patreon, the descriptions for what the donations are, like what the money's going towards, is dedicated servers, domain names, SSL certificates, hackathon, plane tickets and rentals,
tickets
and
and
computers. So I guess it's not even like. The argument that this comment's trying to make is it doesn't say that you're paying for the mod, but you're paying for all of the components to make the mod. So yeah, you are still. And it says furthermore, they mention, while we would like to release on a regular basis, this mod is being worked on when we have free time or during hackathons. It is impossible for us to release on a fixed schedule, as what we do is very experimental. We hope to release the first stable version of the mod during the year 2019, which would be this year. Which means they still have several months to release a stable version, but with a lack of updates and the way that one of the guys is reacting to it, seems like it's probably not going to get there, and he knows that, so he's lashing out already.
He feeling the pressure.
Yeah. I feel bad. There was another one of the people on the mod team that made a post and said we are still working on it, and we plan on, releasing it and everything, but we're students or have day jobs, and most of the mods need a lot of reverse engineering from Skyrim itself. So I mean, I get that it's time consuming and everything, but you are accepting money for it.
You're making a lot of money from it.
You're making
you
a lot
could
of
make
money
this
for
a
it, and-
full-time job.
And with Patreon, there's a difference between something like Patreon and GoFundMe. With Patreon, you're expected to be receiving something in return for what you're paying. Whereas something like GoFundMe, it's just straight donations. So I wonder if there's anything as far as recourse for refunds that people could ask for if they don't end up receiving a product.
Probably not, because Patreon is a subscription-based service where GoFundMe is a donation-based
Well, I
service.
mean, that's what I'm saying, though. But the difference is with your subscription-based service, you're paying for something, but you're not getting anything.
Well, you're paying to support those people.
Well, I guess that's
and what those
true.
people do with that is on them. GoFundMe is you are paying for a product. You are investing in a product.
No,
And,
GoFundMe is just donations. You can pay for
Just
people's
donations
medical
in
bills,
general.
or give them money
Oh.
for a house or a
Well-
party or whatever.
Well, you're giving them money for a specific thing. For Patreon, is you're supporting these people while they do something. Whether what you get from it is different.
I don't know. I think you're looking at that little wrong. Like, usually Patreon is because you are like, yes, you're supporting it, but like even people that make digital content and things like that, you subscribe to their Patreon for early access to that content, or access to content that the general public will not have, or an extra, like, I think Philip DeFranco does like town halls with his Patreon supporters, and all of that, or NoClip does a specific video every month for their Patreon, where it's something that they get access to that everybody else doesn't. So you're still,
Or they'll get early access.
yeah,
to
you're
it
giving
either
them
way.
money
Like
for
NoClip does
a,
early
a
access. so-
something.
Well, some of the Patreons do that, and some don't.
I really haven't
not
seen
every
any other
Patreon is gonna
that
be-
doesn't, though. But then again,
Well,
I guess
this one is-
there's a ton of Patreons, so
Yeah,
well,
I don't
it's,
go through
it's like I know,
Patreon.
there's even content creators that are out there that do it for like streaming purposes because they might not be partnered
people do it for
with
Sims.
whoever it is.
A lot of people pay for Sim mods, which is crazy because you can get a lot of those for free, guys.
Yeah, there's
I'm not saying
this
that
much
creators
money.
shouldn't
They
be
need
paid.
to do something. Like this much money, it just they have to give something to their community they don't want.
Even if that
they are
something
paying
is
for.
just a regular update. I get that you guys have
Yes.
jobs and you're students. Make a schedule. Be like, there's 8 of us. That means that for 2 months, that's one update per person in the team. And then it round robins again. It starts over. So like Mr. G Riot gives the first update like on every Thursday of the month, the first Thursday, and then it'll be whoever next week. So it's just a little something to show that you are working on it and you do care about the people that are giving you money.
The interesting thing to me about this is because I'm trying to. I looked it up because I knew what a hackathon was, but I suspected that there were certain programs and apps and things like that because I remember seeing a news video on it before that popular things that we might not know now were actually created at hackathons, and so if you're going to a hackathon, you're not working on this. You're working on something most likely that because you have to finish it over that 3-day weekend usually, and you're not working on this. You're working on something different. So, if depending on how many of these they're going to, that's what it sounds like they're doing. Is they're
spending
just
the money
using
on
this
trips.
money to create, a trip to create an app or something that they're going to make money off of. Because according to what I'm reading here. Major companies were born from the hackathon, such as GroupMe, which began as a project at a hackathon with TechCrunch in 2010. In 2011, it was acquired by Skype for $85 million.
Damn.
The software PhoneGap began as a project at the iPhone Dev Camp, later called the iOS Dev Camp in 2008. The company whose engineers developed PhoneGap, Nitobi, refocused itself around PhoneGap, and Nitobi was bought by Adobe in 2011 for an undisclosed amount. So it sounds to me like these guys are like, well, we're just going to go ahead and, these guys, we're going to get $18,000 a month. So we're making $54,000 a year. Let's say if there's 4 of them, or around $40-something thousand a year if there's 5 of them in this little group. And we're going to use this money to go to these hackathons and hopefully create the next big app and then make more money off of it. So that's what it looks like to me. Like the optics are not good with this in any way.
I agree.
Whatsoever.
It would be so fucking tragic if they did that, made a bunch of money, and then just quit Skyrim together, and all of those people that donated that money. To be fair, though, I'm looking at the Patreons. There's 17,443 Patreons. That means a vast majority of them are just giving $1.
But even then,
which is
it's
hopefully not a I know you're going to pay for this lesson if they do go off and you fucking lose everything that you've put into this. And I hope those 17,000 people take a look at themselves and be like, well, shit. Well, they just got ahead. They get rich and you get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I hope this community just goes at them hard. Like, I mean,
But
if
I mean,
you're
it
gonna
seems
invest
like
in
going
them,
at them hard is just not doing anything but making the guy in charge yell at you on Reddit and then delete all your comments.
well, then I hope to God that the other people on his team look at him and be like, yo, you better shut the fuck up. Because if you ruin this for us, then we're gonna kick your ass out. We can.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody does. There's nobody on this planet that you can't replace with somebody else. Replace them. Find somebody else who wants to work on it. You have 17,443 people that are super interested.
You would think at this point though that they would have like, hey, the patrons, here's a working model of it. It's going to be buggy, but I mean they don't even have anything like that.
Yeah, they haven't shown anything. Maybe a picture or two. No updates on their Patreon. They're basically just sitting back, fucking doing whatever the hell they want to do, and they opened up a Patreon. At that point, you're not working for yourself anymore.
Well, these guys think they are.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
If I was those people, I would.
I just saw this. It is currently at $18,284 a month, but at one point it was double that.
Really?
Holy
So at
God.
one time they were making $36,000 a month.
But they weren't putting anything out, so those people went away. Nice.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That is crazy. I mean, you're talking $400,000 a year.
Ooh. Oh, well, we could keep going on about that one, but let's get to the only bit of good news. Well, I guess the more uplifting news
There you
for
go.
everybody this week. A company has released a new game, and it's called Sea Hero Quest VR, and it's a dementia detecting game.
I don't think it's just released. I think it was released a little while ago, but I mean...
Yeah, it was recent. 2017 is when they first talked about it.
Okay, I was about to say, I feel like we've heard about it before this. Anyway,
When
keep
they first
going.
talked about it or when they first released?
Well, I think that at this point, I think that might have been first release because now they're getting, they've had long enough to get results from it.
Gotcha.
Data collection
Yeah,
and
the
everything.
initial release was May 3rd, 2016. Sorry, I was just reading more about it.
Okay.
But apparently it helps detect dementia, which is super nice, and they've apparently already obtained 15,000 years, quote me, 15,000 years worth of research.
Well, it's because they said
in the
that
last couple of years.
it's like 2 minutes of playing the game is equivalent to 5 hours of lab research, apparently.
Yeah, it's very interesting that they're able to do this. And basically, for those trying to figure out how they're doing that, there's a gene that certain people have that they believe is a carrier for dementia later on in life. So if you have that gene, you have a very high risk possibility. So what they did is they had people play the game that have that gene, and they had people that play that game that didn't. And what they saw were people that had the gene had issues with spatial navigation tasks. They took less efficient routes to checkpoint goals, things like that. So it's very, very interesting to me because people that are like that. You know what I mean? Those people that would take a longer route to get to things. And we've always kind of correlated, or at least I have, I've always correlated that sometimes because everybody thinks differently, that's just the way that their brain worked, and the fact that they had to kind of look at things differently in order to get to the same point, where some people can just go in a straight line to get there. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very interesting that if that's the case, that you kind of go, can you find out if you got that gene or not?
Right? I wonder if they would send you an email, be like, hey, we watched your gameplay, we've done all the research and whatnot, you should probably talk to your doctor about this gene and see if you can get tested. And then you're like, oh cool, you get tested, and they're like, yeah, you have it.
Or there could be an opt-in, even in the main menu. Would you like to opt into our research for dementia, and then they send you an email later on accordingly.
That would be absolutely incredible. Games doing wonderful things for people. That is awesome to see what people can do with games and how it can help make people's lives better.
Yeah, they've already, a lot of people have built games already to help with people that suffer from depression, for an expression of that. There's people for color blindness, so people are adjusting toward that too.
Yeah,
it's very interesting
now, which is nice.
Yep. So I'm very interested to see where this ends up going. I like the fact that they're doing it from a research standpoint, and the person that's doing it has no idea why. They're just playing a game. to them, right?
Exactly.
So, which I think is really neat because you can continue to research and do it that way. But that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It is incredible. It makes me super happy that people are using video games as a medium for medical research.
Yeah.
And it's working. And it's working.
Well, they already use it for like rehabilitation on certain things too. Like
Yeah.
for like if they'll use VR for different types of rehab stuff. Like our local university here, who has a major football team. If you go into their facilities, they actually have an entire 2 VR sets that are in there, and it was part of that rehabilitation. So I think that's pretty neat too.
That is incredible. The things video games can do.
That's right.
Indeed.
New ways of making
Besides
it work.
teach us to steal cars and drive over people.
Dude,
That's just fun though.
I know we're wrapping up the show, so I'll share an anecdotal story because I'm playing Red Dead on my YouTube, which we will talk about in a second. But my sister was playing last night for the first time in a couple of weeks, and she was in a wagon, and she had to go to a town, and chicken's dying already. She came to there's this bridge in town. It's Strawberry, if you've played the game. She was going to Strawberry with this wagon, and there was another wagon coming across the bridge that she needed to go across. And the wagon at the last minute, like, swerved. Like, she thought it was going to get out of the way, and it swerved. So it pushed her kind of off to the side, and she drove her horse off the bridge. So she had to reload, because technically the wagon
She pushed her horse off. Okay, so the way it worked is I was watching the first time. The second time you watched,
Yeah.
the wagon came across, and she thought it was gonna keep coming. So she went apparently the sidewalk area, and it turned, and she goes around the rock, and then tries to get on the bridge, but can't cut sharp enough. So she just. Yeah, her horse just basically goes forward, and then the wagon keeps going, and you can't see the horse anymore, and the wagon is pushed up against the side of the bridge, and I'm just sitting there going, your horse is dead. And she's like, no, it's not. And I'm just like, yep, you're going to have to restart. Your horse is dead. And next thing you know, you just see the horse go tumble down the fucking rock.
Oh, no.
And I was like, yep, you killed your horse.
So
Oh
she
my
had
God.
to reload, and she comes back into town, and the same wagon is coming across the bridge again. So she gets out of the way a little bit. She's like, I'll just let him go. Well, he gets to, like, right next to her and stops his wagon because she is still in the way, I guess. And so she's sitting there, and she's like, is he going to move? I'm like, I don't know. Because the guy's not yelling. Like, usually if you're in the NPC's way, they'll start yelling at you. But the guy wasn't yelling. And so she's sitting there, and she's like, I'll just try to go past him if he's not going to move. And so she gets the horse past his cart, but her cart gets stuck on his. And she's trying to make the horse go, and the horse is walking, but the cart's not going anywhere because it's stuck. And this guy is still just sitting here. And so she gets off of her wagon, which, since they were stuck together, it pops her out in front of the wagon and walks around to the side. And I was like, can you select the NPC, essentially, and yell at him? Because sometimes they'll get mad and just shoot off. Well, she couldn't even select the guy. Like, she couldn't say anything to the guy. So she walks up to, he's got like 2 horses in the front of the wagon. I was like, maybe you can make the horses run off, because usually you can target them the same way you can people. And so she tries that and punches the horse in the butt. And instead of the horse getting mad and running off, which would have been, advantageous to her at that point, it just stands there. Like, she has broken this wagon at this point. She's trying to figure out what to do. So finally, she's like, fuck it. Jumps up in the wagon, shoves the guy out, drives the wagon out of the way. The guy runs off. She gets in her wagon, goes on. I'm like, I don't know, man. I had not come across this problem. I don't know why you did, but that's great. You punched a horse, stole a wagon. And you're fine. Whatever. Do what you have to, I guess. Survival. So...
Too funny.
that game's a lot of fun sometimes when things don't work. Anyway.
That's the way it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go play after this, so as soon as we wrap up, I'm going to go play in the Wild West.
There you go.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
I will.
Anything else anybody wants to add? No, good to go. We appreciate everyone that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn.
Do you know how long we've been doing this show and you can't even say the name of it? God.
At
What's the name
Infinite
of the show?
Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oak Tree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slynam.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
Pocket pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Grif's YouTube channel, where currently she's playing through Red Dead Redemption 2. She finished up Resident Evil 2, so if you want to binge watch that.
Yeah, the Leon run is done, so if you want to binge watch that, that's fine.
Yeah, so you want to binge watch.
In a couple of weeks, we're going out of town for the weekend, and then I'll start recording Claire after that, after we get back.
Word. For your favorite concert ever?
Probably.
Probably. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313, where you can watch Chicken Sunday through Thursday as he's playing video games and stuff.
No Sunday for another 4
However
weekends.
long Game of Thrones runs.
4 more.
Oh,
4
that's
more
right.
weekends.
Sorry, Monday through Thursday. Then sorry,
Yes.
sorry, that's right. You got the Game of Thrones stuff going. Also,
Good.
I know. I just wait until afterwards before I do it. Also, make sure you go to mixer.com/MDBOaktree, where I try to stream each and every day. Hopefully, I'll have more of that as an opportunity as it gets closer to the summertime. So, other than that, we should be good.
Mm-hmm.
For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
Bucket.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Please hang up and try again.